Top of the morning to you. May this video reach many people like you in this very moment. This is something really important. Before I continue, I would like to give gratitude and thanks to someone who came into my orbit, which I really like. I'm borrowing that phrase from them. But without them, there's no way I would be sitting here in this morning, like going over things in my mind, in the state or in the mode of reflection. By really thinking, not necessarily dwelling, but just like unpacking things and looking at where things are. And this is also being derived from what they share, from what they shared with me, which once again very, very precious. And yeah, so one of the things I'm sort of going over is that was unfortunate because there was space, I feel, that was developing where the honesty between, yourself and another, when you're in the development of building something, okay? But that's a crucial moment to, not throw in the towel in the moments of uncertainty. But what I recognized is this, and I then saw the recognition in my previous self, and that was building what I was building and what I have built. And actually over the past year, and obviously continue, is actually breaking down all of those structures. And as I'm breaking down all of those structures, understanding how I've built them. And because of that, I start to recognize those structures that are being built, or that have been built in others' lives. And that's why I say, may this video reach you and many more, because this is really important. And it can be the type of information that can be confronting, because you already know, right? You consciously already know. And so here comes like the punchline of it all. What has happened, and I will say I built, right, overly engineered even, such a familiarity and intense, I will use the word extreme comfort. I built such a familiarity and extreme comfort in retreating I'll say the word refusing, smothering my will, right? Smothering my will, where I convinced myself to be unwilling to take on the responsibilities to alter my life because of victimhood. a victim mentality. So I would, what they call, putting up the walls and announcing, I'm not good enough, or reflecting on moments once experienced that no longer are, right, and creating such a dense identity to what I call residual vibrational patterns, rigid, right, on a cellular level. And obviously it's the ones that are of a negative emotional impact, right? And creating such an identity with them that let's say like a friend, right, or like a teddy bear. Because I'll be honest, right, I think I grew up in some potentially, pretty hostile, right, situations, volatile situations, because I was a teddy bear boy. I think I was a blankie boy, and then I had a teddy bear, and I had that teddy bear for a long time. I'll tell you, I mean, like a long time, right? I can remember still being in my 20s, and I still would have my little teddy bear in my bed, and I'm a cuddler, right? I like to cuddle. So there's something in me, right? In my cells, there's a vibrational pattern somewhere, because what I recognize, if I go over my relationships, there's a pattern, right? And so there's the last potential, what I now lean into as a fusion. There was childhood drama came up, drama. I would say drama. There's a drama to it. There's a trauma, right? And then, you know, this is a mature woman that's hanging on to an identity that something happened when she was such a wee lass, and then hanging on to the diagnosis of her character through the medical field. If you didn't know that, you would say, wow, what a gem of a woman. What a gem, like amazing, super intelligent, smart, kind, caring, socially aware, aware of herself even, and gifted me like the privilege to know that. Like, that's something pretty precious. If you share that with someone, or someone shares something that's precious, so, and honor that too. Like, don't dismiss that, especially, right, like anyone, whether you're a woman or a fella. I don't want to get and say, especially you ladies, especially you fellas, let's not keep feeding this us against them hoo-ha. But honor that. That's something precious, and it's also an indication of where you are in you, that you are evolving. I would say, in regards to the ladies who want honesty, and that come up as well for me. Honesty. What actually is honesty, and learning that perhaps there's a management from my side, managing honesty. Honesty is a truth, and what it came back to, and I'm diverting a little bit. I'm going for a run around the oval. Should know this by now. The honesty, when a woman wants honesty from the man, I feel what it actually is asking for is you, the fella, me, living in the truth of me, being honest to me, like living in honor of yourself and who you want to become as a character, and who you are as a character, and that what is being defined under the word, I want a man who's honest. is her ability to recognize that that's a man living in his truth. That appeals to me because that's the nature, right? So when the woman, she's all flustered, that you just stand there and go, okay, well, I'm here for you. Like, have your moment, right? And I'm here for you, but also saying, you need to be there for yourself. But what's really important out of all of this is the story that you tell yourself. In that story that you tell yourself, how much is that is a repetitive negative, and how much of that are you attaching yourself to an identity that isn't necessarily true? It's only true because of the mind, the personal, the you or the me, convincing myself it's of a truth, and of the unwillingness to take on the responsibilities to alter that because of a fear of the unknown, right, is what I want to get to as well. The fear of the uncertainty. So we retreat back into the trauma because it's what it's a contradicting, incohesive safe place. Someone jumps in the cold, right? Ah, that's really cold. They hop out, they want to warm themselves near a fire. Now, you know how fire crackles and that, it's gases in the wood. They're around the fire, they're warming themselves up, and they're like, "Oh, this is so bliss." And then there's a crackle, there's a bang, and then there's a spark, and there's an amber. Right, there's that moment of panic. Right, there's that experience. Let's call that the trauma, almost. They jump back into the cold water. Because of that moment on the fire. Now, I know I'm role reversing here, but this is an analogy that's coming up. You can't go jumping back into the cold water because, that's detrimental. It's actually detrimental. But because that moment, you see what I'm saying? So people are jumping back, and I was jumping back. Let me just not turn this into a lecture, but realizing that what I was doing to me was jumping back in the cold water because of that one moment that happened that actually, it happened, but it's no longer happening. It's only being replayed in my mind. It's like having your finger on the remote, playing the same scene on a movie that frickin' is disturbing you on an emotional level. If you were to look at someone, you're like, why are you doing that? It just, you know what I mean? It psychologically doesn't make sense to do that. But for some reason, right, that's what I'm getting at, is there's the comfort in the retreat, just to retreat in the familiar. It's familiar space. And it's a detrimental, there you go, victimhood, right? Victim mentality is a detrimental safe place of this psychological. The what if I get hanging on to something that happened decades and decades and decades and decades and decades ago. That's extremely unhealthy. So no wonder my life isn't flourishing like my videos here on YouTube. But it's all about the unpacking, isn't it? It's the unpacking, it's the unveiling, it's coming on here, it's sharing with you, the lovely person. Something that I realize, it's giving thanks to those who help bring forth that realization and understanding about personal evolution, and people are going to go at their own pace. And the part of me that I just want to help too. And yeah, it can be overzealous, can it not? And then some people, it's not that they don't want to change. This is the thing. This is the part that's sad in a way too. Is you can see and you can sense there's people out there. There's like they don't really want to be that way, but they've given up, and I gave up. And I can say that because I gave up. I gave up. I gave up. And then I just started thinking to myself, do I really want to continue living my life in, oh well, is what it is, and literally, like, yeah, throwing in the towel, giving up, knowing, let's say, I've brought this up in my videos before, knowing that I have at least 20 more orbits, like bare minimum, 20 more orbits. So do I just want to do I want to live 20 more orbits in, oh well, if only, oh too bad, I guess that's just it, that's a fate. And giving up, this is important too, my capacity to alter my reality through the way that I think, act and feel, and completely changing my identity and eroding all of that which is detrimental. And knowing that there's so much goodness out there that is ready to be delivered to me, and that, yeah, I am worthy of it in accordance to the way that I be. So that's the part where you can dismiss the delusional when you're here in your victim mentality, in the right, but you're asking for all the goodness and making affirmations. But if you're not breaking down and detaching yourself away from that detrimental safe place, remember, use that word. It's a detrimental safe place. Like sitting in the attachment, right, to a false truth is detrimental. It's detrimental to the psyche. It's detrimental to the spirit. It's a cop-out. And that's a hard word to use, but I use that on myself. Yeah, I was. It's coward from a man's perspective. It's being a coward. It's cowardice to run and hide and not be willing, like I said, to reach in for the rose, knowing, yeah, you're probably going to get some scratches and cuts. I think I've brought up that analogy before about, you know, going through the jungle, facing the adversities, knowing that when you look on the map, that's the direction to take, instead of sitting on the edge watching everyone else and then going, oh, well, I wish I could be like everyone else. Well, what if you already are like everyone else? Like, you already are. Like, this is also coming from a man called Peter Crone. I strongly not just recommend but suggest you tune into that fella. If you're in a state in your mental being and in your spiritual being and your emotional being, and there's a glimmer of you that I really want to get rid of this attachment that I have that's creating these blockages. Well, one of those is definitely coming from you, because the blockage is being derived from you because of that attachment, right? The attachment and the structures, the architectural structures that have been created by yourself, that you've engineered, right, through these repetitive moments that have occurred in your life. And I had to realize that. That wow, it's like tethered. It's a tethered line. The ball's in the chain, and that can get disheartening in itself. Going through the process of removing all of these tether lines, all of these anchor lines. And it can be tiring, and it can be testing. And this is the thing. This is part of what I realized. Wow, a lot of my failures and a lot of the emptiness that's been in my world is simply due to my unwillingness to take on the responsibilities required, paired with the congruent actions, efforts, and behaviors, to alter my reality to be of greater service in the deliverance of the benefit. And there's many, you might be watching this right now, it says, oh yeah, but that's easy for you to say. But boom, look what's happening. There's a tether line. Ooh, like, don't leave me. It's almost like you've created a friend with this psychosis. Yeah, you've created a friend with an identity built through the emotional attachment. You've created an identity through the repetitiveness, retreating into a detrimental safe place. That wouldn't make sense, would it? There's another analogy, like the world's coming to poo. Yeah, it just seems so back to front, doesn't it? But yeah, your teachers come in many shapes and forms. So once again, it's giving gratitude for another's unwillingness another's unwillingness to give me that nudge for me to lean more into my willingness. So that I can alter my reality to be of a greater beneficial service to myself. And then to showcase that and be a contributional source of benefit to you and others in their reality. Yep. So just sit with me for a second, or sit with you for a second. And another thing that, right, is we give our power away too easily. I gave my power away so easily. And power, right, pretty much just means that your consciousness, a doctor is an example. Oh, you're this. You have this personality type. Rah, 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 rah. Oh, okay. Okay, I have this personality type. Okay. So when shit goes wrong, it's because I've got this personality type. Or when I can't handle things, oh, it's because I've got this personality type. Okay, cool. It's a get out of jail free card, right? It's saying, hey, you don't have to take any responsibility now. You don't have to trudge into that jungle anymore. But guess what? There's a nature built into you. And so we can't stop the part of your true self wanting to venture in, because that's the deal. That's the fruitcake and deal, man. That's the deal, right? I didn't realize that. I just kept retreating into my detrimental safe place. And then another part is on the other side going, what are you doing? Like, you got to get out there. That's the goodness is through the poo. And then I'm too busy arguing and going, well, that doesn't make sense. Or maybe I'm not built for this. Well, build yourself for it, for goodness sake. Good example here on the boat. You know, it's raining, it's leaking, and I could sit there and just sit in my corner and go, oh, it's leaking, it's leaking. I don't want to go out in the rain. It's too cold. But if I want to improve, want to have, bridge the gap, actionable momentum, if I want to improve the comfort in the boat and life living on a boat, then I need to be of the willingness to get out there in the elements and pitch up the top and be in the wind and have things flicking in my face, and right. But there's an exhilaration to it, because then when you get back in the boat, you're like, woo, you're beauty. And the achievement, you're beauty. We stop the water. Okay, so when the weather finds, there's the other thing. Let's elevate. We're right. We got to take out. I think there's rotten wood there. We've got to take that out. We've got to go through the jungle. We've got to fix that up. We've got to fix it up. That's the other part. When we, because this is the thing. I was in that narrative. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I have a chemical imbalance. Maybe I need to see a doctor or a psychologist. Like, what's wrong with me? There wasn't anything wrong with me. What was wrong with me was my unwillingness. Or when people use the word, I've been diagnosed. Giving away the power. It's all a generalization. It's a cop out. Even though, something really bad happened in your world, and you're not taking that away from anyone, because that's heavy, right? That's a heavy thing to deal with, and I can't share what was said because that's just not the polite thing to do. But everyone has their own, demons and stories and traumas. And that's why I was saying, maybe I've had some. Because why is it that those type of females always enter my world? But is it something else going on too, that they come into my world when I'm involving myself? So there's a natural attraction where that part of them, right, is being pushed and saying, you've got to go there because that's where the healing is. And he's there to help you. And we think sometimes it's our intuition that's keeping us safe, when really it's insecurity. The intuitional part is the part that says you need to go out there into the elements. That's intuition, in my opinion. That our intuition is a greater cosmic consciousness, a consciousness of the collective, from the spirits who have lived here on earth, who have gone through their personal evolution, and it's an accumulation of insights. That's what I feel, what you feel. That is intuition. The insecurity is the disruptor of that. And a lot of that's derived from the social narrative. You take society and all of its subliminal hoo-ha out of the equation, and you plug into nature, there is no such thing. Boom. Back to eating the grass. There's a story about the deer or the gazelle getting chased by the lion. Yeah, in that moment, in that time, in the experience, that is scary as woohoo. But once the scenario has been diffused, it's like, what do? They're back at the same water where they got attacked. And you think, animal, why would you do that? Right. Hang on to that statement and observation right now, and look at yourself in the mirror. And I'm going to say, that's exactly what I have done. Like literally looked at my reflection and said, what the fruitcake are you doing right now, mister? Are you serious? Like, are you serious? Why do you keep doing this to yourself? Very important question. And also, what's more important is stepping up to the plate, even with your blankie in hair, even with cuddling, and, your thumb. Like, my poor sister sucked her thumb for a long time, right? That was her safe place, right? And same deal. And I don't know if it's fellas or it's the female, potentially more the female, right? Just because of the way that you're built. That those things have a greater impact, because you feel the helplessness, whereas in the fella there is something about fighting back, or there should be, right? Because we're meant to be of service to the woman, protector of the woman, as to the woman is built to be of service in support of the man being of service on the totality. I'm just gonna sneak that in there for you. So my question out to you and the many like you, what have you freaking constructed to such an over-engineered level that you know you need to deconstruct? And why not just start now? That's what I mean. That's what I like I said, I gave up because it was like, what's the point? But then I went, hang on, what's the point? I can answer that. Like I said, let's say you have a minimum of 20 orbits. What does, I like the word orbits, rotations around the sun, or 20 more winters, or 20 more seasons, right? That you just like get on with it and start to unravel all the hoo-ha, and along the way you share your developments and realizations. Like, isn't that better than living with a what if? What if I only? Because it's time. And I've already gone through that, especially with this YouTube channel, because I believe I activated this in 2013, 2012. So 3 years ago, it was 10 years ago. So this channel's been around for 13 years. And I think I've done two wipes. Or one or two wipes. Should you imagine the content that I would have on this channel and the evolution? If you go back into my early videos, you can already see an evolution over 250 videos or something. Just the way I talk and the information. I'm coming more from lived experience, where before I was literally just being a parrot of wisdom, and I was a bit preachy, right? Because I was excited with all the information, right? Not realizing that, hang on, the better way to do this is to live life in the application of the information and sharing my understandings of it. So there you go. That is what Ironway Maritime is about. It's a philosophy. It's a way of being. It's part of. I'm coming from the man perspective about becoming the captain of the helm. Because it's the ship with no captain is the ship that's destined for disaster. And bringing myself into this position of getting a boat and never done it being in a position I've never done this, but wanting the experience and having that push and making that my friend instead of the other way around, my insecurity pushing me back and putting my trust in that which was detrimental to me. Think about that right now. Putting your trust in that which is detrimental to you. simply because another, especially like doctors, who have no emotional investment in at all in your well-being, even though it may come across as that, but you're not. You're just a patient. You're just a freaking paycheck, no matter how noble they are. The only way they're going to be noble is say, look, I don't think there's anything wrong with you, right? I think there's just some stuff, real heavy stuff that's happened. And so I'm not going to prescribe you anything. If there is anything I'm going to prescribe you, I would say, get out there in the fresh air, get out there in nature, eat clean. Because medication is synthetic. It's artificial and it's detrimental to your body on so many freaking levels. The way I've looked at it and the way I'm approaching and taking on the willingness is to go, if it's not out of nature, then it's not for me. Because we derive from nature. Why is it that when you go to nature, no matter how psychotic you are, and the only reason that you are like that on nature is because you're being corrupted by the synthetic nature of society. Through the music, through the colors, through the clothes, through the psychological narrative. You know, you poor souls, man. You poor souls. But I know that in the silence, there is that, hey, come on, man. Like, do you know how much goodness is in us? There's so much goodness. And not being afraid to be judged by that. See, judgment and all of that, that's man-made. That's man-made hoo-ha. I go back to before about the animal, right? And I bring that up because there was a reference in what was shared with me about the traumatized animal will lash out and bite. That's only a domesticated animal. Right? That's an animal that's being compressed, right? And kept in that state. You take that animal out into the wild. It'll either die or it'll come out because that's it. But yeah, if you keep getting compressed into a certain environment, of course you're going to stay in that psychological condition. So therefore, that's the thing about with the self, keeping the self in a captivity. By holding on to this trauma, let it go. Ask the question, is that what you really want? If the answer is no, then the answer is no. Doesn't matter if someone says, because then, oh yeah, but what? Yeah, but what? Yeah, but nothing. My favorite saying, if you haven't clicked on, if you have the ability, right, to wipe the poo from your bottom, because I said this to me, look, man, if you have the poo, yeah, if you have the poo, then why are you sitting in it? Get rid of it. It is simple. I know some of you, it's not as simple as that. Well, there you go. That's your narrative that must be eroded. It's your narrative that is debilitating you and suppressing all of these wonderful things happening in your life. And that's what will surpass it being a wish. Oh, I wish I had love. Like, I want love. Right? And then we look for, oh yeah, but I've got a dog. That'll do. That's all I need. It's a dog, yeah. But we're human. That's only a component. That's not the be or end all. Man, woman, that we are built for each other. Yin and yang. This is just another, what's it called? Soapbox. This is just another soapbox talk from Captain Kane here in Iron Wake Maritime. Be good, be great, be brilliant, be the best that you can. Do what you can with what you have to lead you to the places and into the experiences that you'd rather be having or be in. It really is simple. Thank you for tuning in to this wonderful spiel. I appreciate you very much. Whether it's this video, another video, if it's of your will, right? I came across an orange. I'll learn some of these Irish words, because wow, they're so pretty, they're so poetic, and they're so true. But instead of please, if it's at your will, may I suggest that you take information, you take the data, you take that which stimulates that voice in you, that one that says, hey, it's out there. You know, all the wonderful things that you know, that you want, that you know, that you deserve, that you know you are built to have. It's out there. And you can do it. You can. You can do it. Like that little boy says, you can do it. You just got to believe. You just got to believe. Believe. Live in the being of. Dance in the potential of the belief, people. Or person. Dance in the belief of the potential. That will help you to eliminate all that is detrimental. All you gotta do is dance in the belief of the potential. That will help you to eliminate that which is detrimental. Boom. That's my diagnosis for you, lovely folks. That's my prescription. Nature is medicine. Words are medicine. Thoughts are medicine. Action is medicine. Sounds is medicine. Right? The power comes from the nature within your mind, the nature within your heart, which is part of the energy field, which is part of the spirit, right? All that is wonderful already exists. We just need to resonate. So I want to send out to you that's watching this, you got this. You got this. And think of this channel, think of the comment box as like the porch light is on. Whenever you're passing by, right? Or even if you just want to stop in for a little cuppa, the light's always on.